it's not just about paying for a ransom or responding to a kidnap. What you're getting when you get this policy, because the average cost of a kidnap and ransom, like out, not including fees, but what it's going to cost to pay a ransom, your expenses connected to that, is about $25,000. That's what they say the average is across the board. For most organizations, $25,000 is probably not going to close the doors. But what's going to close the doors is going to be one of two things. Number one, how you respond to that situation and how much responding to that situation is going to cost. And so when you have a policy, no matter what company you go through, every policy is assigned a crisis response firm. So if you go with Great American, there's control risks. AIG, I think, is Crisis 24. Is that right? They just rebranded. They're part of Garda World. But anyways, every one of them has their own response firm that's attached to the policy. And what you get by being a policyholder is that you have basically an international 911 number, so that if you call that number for control risks, they're going to pick up the phone and they're going to be immediately engaged with you, giving you coaching on how to walk through the situation. They're going to coach you through it. They're not making the decisions. It's still up to the ministry leadership team. But what you get when you get a policy is you get immediate access to one of those firms. They typically bill $500 to $1,000 an hour. That's all covered within the policy. So if you can think about a kidnap or ransom situation taking about 72 hours and you're getting billed $50 an hour plus your expenses, now you're really starting to add up. And they're going to ask you for, off the top, you're going to have to pay a retention. Just like if you go get an attorney, they're going to want to check for 10 grand, 20 grand, even before they're going to talk to you if you don't have a policy holder. So that's the biggest thing is, number one, having a team, a consultant that's going to walk you through the process, give you best practices, give you feedback on how that situation is handled. And then the second part is the liability connected to it. That's really where ministries and organizations can get in trouble, is that, heaven forbid, this thing goes poorly. Now you have family members, spouses, kids, if somebody passes away or is severely injured, and they're going to seek damages against you. The policy is going to cover you for that as well. You may have, if this is a missions organization and you have supporting churches or a deeply connected denomination that has sent you people to care for, and it could seriously hurt your relationships in country that you work in. So there's just a ton of costs if something like this goes poorly. I've seen situations where ministries were uninsured and they were lucky that nothing bad happened, but the disorganization with how the situation was responded to really did a lot of damage to those organizations and the leadership, because they realized, like, hey, they're not prepared to handle something like this. And whether it's you're hosting teams, you're recruiting missionaries, your level of professionalism and your organization's ability to respond to these types of situations is really difficult, is really going to set the tone for, it's going to make or break you. And I've seen situations where organizations have navigated it beautifully and they've come out the other end and they've gained a lot of advocates and a lot of positive momentum. God shows up in those ways and in those types of situations. But yeah, it is definitely a make or break moment. And there's a lot of large organizations out there that we work with that they have the capacity to really invest in their own infrastructure, their own crisis response teams. They have people who that's their sole job is to navigate a lot of this. And that's great. I mean, I think that's a great thing for ministries to have. But number one, it's just like you may have an organization may have inside counsel, but you always want to have that outside counsel because at the end of the day, it shows that you did your due diligence. You can pass it off and said, "Hey, we this is what we thought, but we checked with somebody else." And then the other thing about these policies that's beautiful about it that I think leads into another misconception is that you can get a mid-sized to small organization that doesn't have the capacity to have those types of security teams, to have that expertise in-house, and for a small annual premium, you get to have one of the world's best response teams on auto dial. They'll pick up your phone and the a lot of folks think that this is really expensive, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I would say mileage may vary. I'm not an underwriting. We don't set the price. Your exposure, I've said all the disclaimers, but honestly, the average premium size that I deal with is $1,500 to $3,500 a year, which is like when people see it, it kind of blows their mind of what the cost of it is, and for the coverage that you're getting, and you get you get your own response firm basically.